Welcome back to Third Degree Vibes, the realest podcast for grown women talking all things life, love, evolution, and everything in between. I'm Sheila.
And I'm Adrienne. And today we're getting all the way into it with this episode. Over 50 and unbothered. We're not our grandmas.
Because let's be clear, being over 50 today hits different. We're not rocking house slippers and calling it a wrap. We're glowing up, leveling up, and owning every damn part of the journey. Woohoo! I love that. So I feel that. Did y'all feel that? Because I felt it. I really felt that. Right. I really felt that.
Yeah.
So how are y'all doing today? How y'all doing?
We're doing absolutely marvelous.
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool. So today we're talking about, being over 50 and the wonderful part of being over 50. That it is not the end, and we are not our grandmamas. Have y'all noticed this? That we don't look like the 50-year-olds of when we were kids, because I noticed this. Did you know that Louise Jefferson was 50 years old? Did she look older than us? Like, look at us.
For sure. For sure.
Yes.
She was
Betty White. Huh?
Wow.
Go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No. Go on. Say what you're saying. I was just saying Betty
she
White.
was just
50. Were older. She was only 50. And the same thing with George. George was younger than her. He was like 40. What? Like, okay, something must have been different. I know their food was supposed to be, our food is supposed to be worse than their food, but something's different about us. Our glow up is totally different.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're competing with the youngins at this point.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because there's some youngins that look older than us, though. For real, we should switch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's fact. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into this. So, what's something physical you guys have noticed about getting older, and how has your mindset shifted in response to that difference?
Girl, I'd be ready to take a nap at the drop of a dime. I don't care if it's in the morning, in the evening. Whew, if I'm tired, I'm going to lay it on down.
You're going to laze it on down, girl. So you just you rest your body, though. You rest. The body tells you, right?
Oh, yeah. It gives me warning signs like, okay, if you do not get somewhere and sat down, it's going to be a problem.
Right.
Real
What
quick.
about you, A? What about you?
Mine is similar. I still resist the naps, the midday naps, although sometimes I'll be one to take a nap. But I do try to go to bed at a decent time. I try. Sometimes I'll get caught up in whatever the show is, because they roll in right into the next show and they don't give you a chance to get up. But trying to get in bed and get more rest in the evening, and definitely not staying up like I used to when I was younger. So yeah, it centers around rest. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Chris?
For me, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. Like, the bones, like the knees, baby, the knees. Yeah, I mean, like,
you don't got the good knees no more.
Girl, them tootsie rolling, baby, doing them tootsie rolls all them years at that club, baby. It's settled in. Sometimes, like, your mind is one thing, and you feel like, okay, like I'll just jump up, but baby, it taps me on the shoulder, be like, hello there, 51. Slow down. Yeah, slow down. So yeah, just little things like that, and just just pains here and there, like little dots of pain. So I try to combat it with, try to eat well as best as I can, and try to get some exercise. I need to do more. Yeah. But that's how I've realized, like, okay, Chris, you're getting older, girl. Because in my mind, I don't know if y'all feel like this, I'm still my mind, I'm still 20 something. I know that's
I'm
not
so
probably
glad you said,
not,
I'm so glad you
you
said
know,
20. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That's how I
Not
feel.
in an immature sense, like,
No.
not like that, but I forget
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that I am this age because, you know, I don't feel like that inside, if that
But
means anything.
I'm glad you said it that way because, to be honest, that's societal, right? Because, like I have a girlfriend and she just really wants me to lean in, to keep saying things like I'm old, like she expresses herself.
Yeah.
But I think that that's a mindset thing. Once you start telling yourself that you're not capable of doing this, or
Mhm.
you're you're old in the sense of what you think is old, then
Mhm.
you'll lean into that, and that's fine if that's what somebody wants to do. I don't want to think of myself as being an old person. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want to get older and I want to drop dead right now. Okay.
Right.
And she pointed that out. I was like, yeah, if I'm not getting older, that means you're dead. But
Right.
I'm not trying to say that, but for someone else's perception of what old is, I don't resonate with that, you know?
Same.
Do y'all
Same.
remember when, I'm gonna say, well, especially for me, I can remember being in a senior in high school, and I was at one of my basketball games, and my mom was talking to one of the guys on the basketball team, and she was like, "I'm 50," and I was so embarrassed. I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you told somebody that. Oh my gosh." I was so mad, but
Yeah.
Lord, now I'm like, oh, I feel like I still have a young mindset.
Yeah.
I don't
Mhm.
feel old.
Yeah.
There's, medical things that are going on, but
Hmm.
besides that, I don't feel old.
Right.
Right.
And how
No,
we
Right.
used to see our grandmothers in moo all day long and
Yeah.
drinking a
Yeah.
coffee and smoking a cigarette.
House dress. Honey, I used to buy my grandmother. That's all she asked for. Just make sure you buy me some more house dresses. I want some house dress, some house shoes, and some
if
peppermint. Girl, that is not me. No, 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 no,
if
no, no,
I
no.
ever, if I ever house dress and house
House dress.
shoes, no less.
And
Once you
house
started with
shoes, baby. Yes, baby.
girl,
Yes,
uh-uh.
baby. That was my
I
grandmother, honey.
I and I respect those women. I do, because I know what they've lived through and what it takes to get to that age and everything. But girlfriend, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I went to one of my closest friends. We were next door neighbors for when we were growing up. We were next door neighbors. So I went to her birthday celebration. I want to say it was last year, maybe last summer. And
Mhm.
she was turning 60, and she's full on gray hair, and she looks beautiful. She does. And we were talking there, and she knows, if she ever listens to this, she knows I said this to her. So she was like, oh, I like my grays and what have you. She said, Adrian, you're not going gray. I said, let me tell you, Clairol will have to go out of business, and the people that make the formula, they better have unlisted addresses, because I'm coming through. No, ma'am, these grays will get handled. All right.
You ain't feeling the grays.
No, no, no. That's okay. Anybody listening? Again, do not come for me. Do you, boo boo? But I'm gonna do me, and that ain't where that is at. I'm sorry. No, ma'am.
Right. Right.
No.
I feel you. I feel you. I don't like that either. I don't like people trying to, well, that's what period. That's why people put me in a box. But I had a
Mhm.
cousin, this was like some years ago, and I hadn't even turned 50 yet. And she is older than me, like about 12 years older than me, 12, 13
Mhm.
years older than me. And she made a comment like about another person and saying, well, she could do that because, she's young, but, we're old.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Putting that on you.
first of all, baby, I'm not your age, number one. And number two, I don't consider you old, nor do I consider myself old. And I'm never going to say that because, like you said, that's a mental thing. That's just like when you say you're broke. No, I'm not saying that. And once I said, if I say I'm old, then everything is going to start operating as such. So
Right.
no, I'm
You're
not
claiming
old.
it,
Yes,
right?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not claiming that. No.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at all of the women, and it's not just it's women on the street, like you said, that are beautiful and vibrant. But you look at people like Tracy Ellis Ross, that's
Mm-hmm.
over 50. All these vibrant Black women.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for you not to put the clear all in your hair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It only takes, you might have to take a little extra effort, but
Mm-hmm.
you still got it. You know what I'm saying? You if you got it,
Flaunt
then
it.
flaunt it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
I
No,
think
and
I
I'm
would go kicking and screaming because I
well,
don't
I
think
mean,
there's ever a time that I'd just be like, okay, I'm just ready to go gray.
right. I mean, but
Yeah.
and it's cool because we talked about this. I've seen some silk
Yeah.
boxes that look good. All right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
They
Yes.
do. But that look don't work for everybody. And you know what I mean? Like I was telling that same girlfriend, right? So I was telling her how my hairdresser, she dyes my eyebrows. All right.
Mhm.
And she said, you don't have old woman eyebrows. I said, why should I? Why why should I?
Who
If
wants
Yeah.
that?
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
But
Intentionally? No, thank you.
I mean, it's like if you don't have to, then you don't have to. You can choose to.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fine. But what I hear more and kind of like what you two are saying is I think it's the judging and the putting upon me what their view of themselves or what their view of
Mm-hmm.
aging is supposed to look like,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm older than both of you, but it doesn't matter.
No.
I'm just gonna I'm rocking Adrian. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not Adrian at 60. Okay.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's
Yep.
Adrian.
Exactly.
So like when I went to my son's baby shower, what was that, a couple months ago? I walked in and I know that I don't look my age. And to be honest, I never have. And all three of my kids, they do not look their age either. We just kind of have that gene. But I'm not, like I was telling a cousin of mine, another cousin, she was like, oh, you wear makeup and you do all that. I don't wear makeup. And I was like, well, you act like the makeup's supposed to make you look ugly. You know, I'm like, this is to enhance what you have. You know what I mean?
Right.
What's wrong with
Right.
that? What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Right.
Exactly.
Nothing.
So,
Nothing.
it's okay. I mean, I will say there was this one time I went with my other son, my middle son, and he'll probably be so embarrassed that I'm telling you this, but we went into the bank and he was doing something. It was his bank. And I was just standing there. And then he turned to ask me something. He said, what do you think, Mom? And the teller said, that is not your mother.
Hmm.
And I said, oh, so you thought that was my boyfriend or what? But and this happens, but yeah, no, I decide, put it that
Yeah.
way. I
Exactly.
decide, right?
Exactly.
There's women our age that, that will do surgeries. And then there's now a big push of women over 50 getting BBLs. And that's just not my cup of tea. I'd rather just work out and
Mhm,
just use what God gave me.
mhm.
Um, well, let me say I would never get a BBL. If I down the road I wanted to go see Dr. Truesdale and we talked about that,
Oh, oh, oh,
I would sign me up for that.
did you hear that, doctor? We coming
Shameless
through.
plug.
Yes,
Shameless
we're gonna have to tag him in this right here.
Doc,
Um, but I
we
mean, I think it's also it has to do with like how we grew up. Like my mom used to be dressed to the nines. I
mhm,
always had either her hair done or a nice
right,
wig on,
right,
makeup to the
right.
heels on. If she
Mhm,
stepped out the house, it was not gonna be with no rollers or no moo.
mhm,
Yeah.
I
mm-mm.
mean, she was
We
dressed to
didn't
the
go out the house
nines.
like that. No, no,
No.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely not. No.
Yep.
Um, but you know what?
Well, the thing,
I
go
will
on.
say that when I was in my 50s and prior, I didn't tell people my age. Number one, I just didn't think it was any of their business. But and that's basically it. I just didn't think it was any of their business. But I also didn't think it was polite to ask. But now that I'm in my 60s and I know that I don't look up like I'm in my 60s. I kind of like the shock value. I kind of like telling
Yeah.
them, no, I'm 60. But and they're not expecting it for the most part. I have very few people who actually, I'm not gonna lie. You guys are gonna think this is crazy, but honest to God, until a few years ago, my children didn't know how old I was.
No.
Mm-mm. It wasn't until the whole adoption thing came out and we had to start talking about the year and everything that I was born. They did not know. They weren't sure.
Your kids didn't know. You know what?
They didn't know. They didn't know.
Well, my granddaughter thinks I'm 27 and I'm sticking to it.
He was like, okay, I'm 27. I go, that's
Yes.
cool. Thank
And
you.
she's like, but wait, you're younger than my mom. I absolutely am.
Yep. You're right.
So is.
Birthday, I said, dang, how'd you get older than me? He said,
That's
stop.
right.
But I think this is so good because it's I don't think it, you know, when I'm talking to my other girlfriend, she'll say, oh, they're our age, they're this. And that's fine if you're trying to get me to understand who this person is. But I think there's too much emphasis on that age meaning something. There's plenty of people I know my age that don't have no sense, not 2 cents.
True.
Five
True.
cents. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
It's not
true.
like they have wisdom because they're our age or something. It's
right.
the person.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
And they're probably
I
old.
will I will say this, that that I don't have a high, being older, I have a low tolerance for like bullshit. I
Oh, yeah.
guess now I think that's one thing I can say that has
Okay.
changed. And I've gotten to like especially with, you know, our vanilla sisters, when they find out how old you are, they're like, oh my God, oh my God, you're kidding me. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. It's called melanin. That's called, you buy it in the stove. It's just melanin.
Oh, well, yeah. You know what? I should, okay. I was about to curse. I'm not gonna curse. I kid you not. I was at a function and this gentleman, I was with my husband, and this one man, he was talking about his age and going on and on and on about it. And I looked at my husband and I said, we better not tell him our age. He'll be upset. You know what I mean? Because I think we were older than him, but you know, it wasn't evident. But he looked at his age, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, I better not say because it will upset this man. But yeah, what you just said about the bullshit, that for me, I've found that I really don't tolerate disrespect, because despite the fact of me not feeling like I'm this age or looking this age, I do feel like I what would be the word? I don't want to say earned, but I have mature, and that warrants a certain respect.
You've gotten to a point that you're commanding the respect you feel like you deserve.
Right. Don't you feel that way?
Oh, absolutely. I think the other thing that I think is distasteful, like everybody has a different body type, and like you'll see younger people just wear anything. And then when you try to wear something, it's like, oh, that's not age appropriate. Like I don't believe there's a such thing as age appropriate. Like I also don't think, I don't want to see nobody at any age, like, you know, booty shorts or nothing like that.
I was gonna say, you'll be out there wearing them shorts, Sheila.
But like, I think that when I dress, I feel like what I feel appropriate, what I feel good in, what makes me feel good. And it's not at nobody else's standard. If it's like a certain color, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to wear that. That's hot pink and I'm not supposed to be wearing that past.
Right, exactly. I'm too old for that color.
Yeah. There's no such thing.
Right.
Yeah. No. And you know what? Like all the things we grew up with too, do you remember like there was a certain season that you didn't wear white?
Oh
Oh
Remember
yeah.
yeah,
that?
after Labor
Right?
Day.
Our kids
Yeah.
don't know nothing about that. You know what I
Don't
mean?
No.
be from down south because they will
Right.
try to, even today, they'll still be like, wait a minute, why you got white on?
Right?
You're not supposed to have white on.
Mm.
Right.
What was
Who
it?
made that rule?
Is it before or after Labor Day?
After Labor
It's
Day.
after
Yeah.
Labor.
You
Uh-huh.
don't, yeah, you're not supposed to
Now
wear
I
white
remember
after Labor Day.
I remember
Right.
some of it. These kids don't know anything about that. But
No.
so the norms aren't what was is no more. Is
Oh,
Right.
what I'm saying.
oh yeah.
Why can't we be the standard for what 50 or 60 looks like? I feel like 60 is the new 30. You know what I
Oh yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I'm
And
serious.
when you look at the models that they've started using, the older models,
Hmm.
they're using, well, usually it's like older white women, but
Hmm.
there is some amazingly beautiful Black women that they
Hmm.
should um, really look into because, whew, baby, Black don't crack.
That's
And we look
facts.
good for our age. The people that take care of themselves, like people
And
that can. I mean,
oh my gosh. You know
hmm,
what? I'm so glad you said that because I had somebody recently, and this was a Black woman, and
mhm.
she was looking at my face. Now I have makeup on and everything, but she was looking at my face. She said, I don't get it. I don't see not one pore. And what I will say is, I have taken good care of my skin since high school, right? Like,
Mhm.
seriously, consciously. I'm not talking about going in and buying all the products. I mean, when somebody asked me, well, what do you do? I said, well, I close up these pores. The last splash is cold water. Like,
Mhm.
remember, what was her name? Mommy Dearest.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
baby.
There
yep,
was this scene where she just put her face in this ice
And
water.
ice.
yep.
Yeah.
Remember? And
Yeah.
so I don't know if that's what did it for me or whatever, but I've always done that. And my pores, but I would say no matter what age you are, take care of your skin
Oh
because
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to lean into it and help gravity along.
oh
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then there's so many products now, that have Kellen was just telling me, my daughter was just telling me about Lady Gaga's line that has hyaluronic acid in it, and these different potions that you know
It helped the aging
yeah,
process.
or better
Yes.
for your skin, right? Remember,
Yeah.
do you guys
Mhm.
remember having like a friend of your mother's that had makeup on that was like caked on,
Yeah. I know,
like
Girl,
like
so thick,
that
pancake.
that FF
you
makeup
know right?
Fashion
used to
fair.
have you a different color. Your face
Baby,
would be
that's fashion fair.
orange.
Yes, baby.
Girl, like it was coming off on their clothes, you know what I'm saying?
On all the
Yeah.
clothes. It was dyeing your hair and everything.
Yes, baby. That's fashion fair.
Oh my gosh, I met her one day. I met the
And it has a certain not scent. It has a certain
But
smell to it.
yeah, a
yeah,
little
Like you
smell
could
to it.
tell when people wore fashion fair because
yeah,
Yeah.
it
yeah.
was like, I don't know, maybe the
Yeah.
chemicals in it or something. But I'm
See,
like, ooh.
and you
Mm-mm.
have to know. I mean, looking back, it was probably nothing good for, and probably blocked all of the, you
Do they
know,
even still sell it?
I don't
I
know.
think they still around, but you know who owned that was at the man who owned Ebony, his wife. She was
Really?
over
Oh,
fashion fair. Yeah, because
wow.
every year she would have the fashion fair. I forgot what it's called. It was actually a fashion show that they would have every
I was
year.
a fashion
With
fair model at my college.
What?
oh, we'll see. Shut up. See what
Yes.
I'm talking about? See? Yeah,
Yes.
I'll
yeah.
have you guys know that it is available at Macy's.
Okay.
So yes.
We don't go into Macy's
Now,
no more, but okay.
now, now look, I'm gonna presume that they have an upgraded
Oh,
formula.
sorry.
I'm gonna just put that
Yeah, we're
out
gonna put that
there.
out there. Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah,
have to come up with something
Okay,
different.
but it's at Sephora. It's at
Oh yeah, they didn't change the formula.
yeah.
they had to have because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
we
Interesting.
only see one orange person walking around now.
Yeah, baby. That's it. It did do that though. Nothing ever matched skin complexion.
I mean,
And
your hands would be one color, your neck would be one color,
yeah,
your face would be
Girl,
another color.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But see, that's because we didn't have those options like we have now. You look at these lines
Right.
now, to their credit, they realize, oh, we're not just one color. We are not.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
they had like about 5 or 6 different shades, and it was yellow to black, and that's it. No
that
in
was
Yeah.
it.
between.
That's
Okay.
it. Mhm. Facts.
I never could understand how come every time somebody would go up in MAC, it was the same color as me. And it's like, I don't understand that.
That's
Okay.
because they didn't capture like our undertones and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know, we've been like thrown aside. Even with makeup, they just started doing that for us. Because
Yeah.
at first, I look at people even on television, like it's just used to like fashion fair is one. Maybe they were using fashion fair too, but you can even see like old shows, like Sheila said, their face be one color, then you get to like the nap of the hair, and it's
Mhm.
like a whole nother color, and then the
Oh
neck
yeah,
be another color, the
and the
earlobe be
hands be another color.
yeah. So
Yeah. And that's where it would go wrong for me because my undertones are different, right? And
mhm,
they would give me these orangey red undertone makeups, and so it would look like
mhm,
mud going on my face.
Oh
It
yeah.
might
yeah,
even be close to the same color, but it was the wrong undertones, like you said. So it would
yeah,
look crazy.
Oh
right,
yeah.
You know. Mm,
But
yeah.
now they have that the blendable kind of
Yeah.
makeup that
mhm,
Yeah.
it'll have like the your tone, like darker tones
Hmm.
or lighter tones or whatever inside of it, so it doesn't look like it's all
Yeah.
just caked on.
Yeah. And oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, I just think of those women, and they were trying to look good at their age. And
yeah,
to their credit, they were trying to make, themselves comfortable in their age. And I got to commend them for that because yeah, I'm not, there's a certain representation I have in myself. And every time I think about leaving the house without makeup, now I will run to the store and not have makeup on and stuff. But
mhm,
if I'm thinking about going out with my husband or going to some event or whatever, I'm gonna put on makeup. I'm gonna get up early and I'm gonna put on makeup because I want to look my best. And I feel like I'm treated differently when I have makeup
yeah,
on.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. If you're well put together, whether it's even having jeans on, but if you have like a nice shirt on and
Right.
your face
yeah,
is done, they don't
Mhm.
feel like, okay, she just rolled out of bed.
Right.
right,
Exactly. And
Yeah.
we probably carry ourselves differently too,
Oh,
because
you do. You
yeah.
feel somebody
confident.
came to the house that I hadn't seen in a couple of months yesterday. And she's like, oh my gosh, you must be feeling so much better. But like my conscious effort to make sure that I'm getting up and doing something to my head and
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
throwing a little bit of powder on my face and some lip gloss. It don't even have to be a full glam, but
Yeah.
it just makes you. It gives the perception that you feel okay, even if you don't feel okay.
Right.
Well, that's how my grandmother was. She was like when she would my father's mom, but when she would go out, she would be like decked to the nines,
Oh
and
yeah,
she would tell me like, okay, Chrissy, whenever you go out, don't you ever go, even you going to the grocery store or you going to the store, you make sure to put some lipstick on. Put some
Mm,
oh
lipstick
yeah,
on. You're not really doing it for nobody else. You're doing it for yourself. And I'm like,
mm,
oh
okay.
yeah.
And she's right. I mean, you feel better about yourself when you just take that next step. And you don't ever know who you're gonna see. So,
Never.
that is true that you take a little extra step, a little bit more love in yourself and you feel it.
Oh yeah.
Especially as you get older, you feel like, okay, you feel
What does it
sexier.
say? You only get one time to make a first impression. So
That's true. That is very true.
and that'll be the time you run into that ex-boyfriend or whatever anyway. You
exactly,
look right.
exactly, and be
Right.
like, what happened? I literally we were getting ready to go to Texas a couple of weeks ago, and I was in the bank and I saw somebody that I knew, and I literally was like, mm-mm, mm-mm, uh-uh. I looked fine, but when I saw him, I was like, oh, please do not recognize me. Please do not recognize me.
Girl, don't you be like, I'm so glad I dodged that bullet right there.
Yes, amen. Because I was like, good
It's
Mm-mm.
Lord.
amazing that the finest person that was in high school with you or in college with you, and you see
Ooh.
him now, you be like,
What happened?
what happened?
Right? I
Man.
mean, that's
Like,
true.
oh, I'm like, I'm so glad I dodged that bullet. I say it all the time on Facebook. I'm like, especially when they'll send you, say, hey girl, how you doing? Oh, you don't know who they are. Like, what? Who are you?
You
Like,
know
you're like,
what the funniest thing is? These singers, and I'm just going to only use the male singers right now. But
okay.
I think I'm going to say Genuine and the guy that sings, Oh Sheila. Oh Sheila.
Melvin Riley, baby. Melvin.
Man,
Oh Lord, look at Melvin.
listen. When I say I was like, we used to be in love with them.
I was in love with me some Melvin Riley with his Jerry curl baby and his dark skin, baby. I
What?
love Melvin Riley.
He would, I mean, guys used to be dressing like that, have the shoulder length Jerry curl,
Yes. Yes.
the pleather pants on and the pleather jackets,
Yes.
everything.
But he was fine though. And but to see his picture now, I was like, so I saw him on Instagram. I was like, oh
Who
my
is
God,
that?
who is that?
Who granddaddy is that?
Right. I'm like, oh, that's somebody's papa. I'm like, oh my
Ooh.
God.
Ooh.
Yes. But it's like a wake up call for you. That's what I'm saying. Like in your mind, you're still
Yes.
like whatever. And I'll be like, oh my God, did you see such and such a? And I'll say it sometimes to Curtis, like, oh my God. I can't like that guy who just passed away. What was his name? That they found his wife and him in his house gone.
Oh, I know who
The
you're talking
actor.
about.
And I was like, did
Who?
you?
Gene Shackman? Gene?
Yes, Gene.
Yeah.
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 And I said, oh my
Gene
God,
Hackman.
Chris,
Gene Hackman.
look how he looked. He was
Yeah.
like, Chris, the
Yeah.
man is like nice. And I was like, it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like that. He's like, well,
It
Chris,
doesn't.
you're 51. I'm like,
Well,
yeah, but
but
still,
Because when you remember seeing him, he was
right.
so nice looking and
That's right.
debonair
yes,
and
That's what I was
yes,
gonna say. The last time we saw him, he looked
yeah.
like him.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
So,
I just
and
think
when
of
was
him in
that? Right.
I Am
Shoot,
Legend.
probably mid
Years ago, probably
90s or something.
30
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
ago.
I Am
Uh-huh.
Legend. No, but I Am Legend when he was with Will Smith.
Yeah,
Remember
but
that
how
movie?
long ago was
That was like,
that?
I don't know, like early 2000s or late, yeah, early
Girl, that
2000s.
was 25 years ago.
I know, but see, I
Thank
don't
you.
think
That
like
was
that.
2000. Do you know that the movie was 2007?
What?
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Oh,
that's a long time ago. That's almost 20
that
years.
is a long time. I don't know.
We've lost
Remember who we were
track of
talking
time.
about? The song we were saying, oh, Vester.
Oh, Vesta, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how old she was when she passed, but I don't think she was in her 50s. I think she was in her 40s, maybe. But I
Mm.
think
Vesta,
she looked great.
Vesta looked good. Vesta had lost all that weight.
Oh, yeah. She looked really, really good.
Well, she's always been a pretty woman, though.
Oh, yeah.
Period. Of
Yeah.
cheekbones, everything. She's a
Yeah.
pretty woman. So I mean, you have too many examples, and I don't get offended too. Like when people be like auntie, that auntie stuff. I prefer you just to say okay, sis or something like that. That's cool. But the auntie thing and stuff, I don't get offended. It just those little cliches like that kind of get.
Sometimes it's a tad disrespectful.
Yeah, it
Just a
just goes a little.
tad bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Or just say Chris. Okay, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know but to be honest with you, that doesn't affect me. I think people sometimes they want you to feel some kind of way because you're older.
Yeah.
They want you to feel like, oh, well, you ain't got it like you used to, boo, and that kind of stuff. Speak for yourself.
Exactly.
For yourself. See, because all of that spirit, that's energy. Like
That's right.
I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm the bomb or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, don't come over here with that negative stuff. Like, I don't have time for that. And I'm not speaking, how people too say, oh, well, arthritis running our family. Don't speak that over me, boo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't include me in that number, please.
Include me in that. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't include me in all your voodoo hoodoos. Keep that with yourself. No.
Shenanigans.
Yes, Eddie. Period.
But I just think, like you just said, see, that's them trying to put on us their impression of what age and aging is and should look like.
Right.
Because it's almost like a stigma that
Yeah.
that when people get, you're supposed to hurt when you get older. You're supposed to want to take naps all the time. But I know people in their 20s will be like, "Oh, I'm tired. I'm about to go to,"
Oh no, yeah,
or
Okay.
yeah,
that are in just as much pain as I'm in, you know.
exactly,
So it does.
exactly.
I don't think that all those things necessarily come with aging. There might be things that change in your body. You might gain weight, you might lose some weight, you know, you don't bounce back as quick as you used to. But I don't necessarily think that pain and sleep and all those things are the only common factors of people getting older. Because there's people that are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s that are running marathons, that
Yeah.
are
Facts.
traveling the world, that are coming outside the door with a full face of makeup on, dressed to the nine, and ready to go.
Right.
So it's all
Well,
about perception.
do, can I
So
ask
my
you a question? Can I ask you guys, you two, a question? So as you're talking, I'm thinking, is this a gender bias thing too? Because how is it
Absolutely.
that, you know, we're talking about how we're perceived as getting older and old or whatever, but they put the oldest person in the highest office.
I
You know what I
mean,
mean?
that
Like
was a
yeah,
terrible thing to do.
you
Terrible.
know what I mean? I mean, it's like in our family, somebody that age wouldn't be allowed to decide what's for dinner. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And you
right.
Just sit down and wait for us to bring you your plate.
right.
Hmm.
I mean, really, right? So, I mean, is it just a female thing? Is it a black woman thing? You know, what are your thoughts?
I think this is a male dominated society,
For sure.
white male dominated society. So
Mhm.
I think that that has a lot to do with it. I know that white women struggle with them being older because I'm in groups and I
Mhm.
see how they, they will try any kind of cream, tool,
Lotion,
anything to
potion.
try to, yeah, anything to
Yeah.
try to keep their crow's feet and everything going on. You
Mhm.
know, so I think it's just, and look at these actresses when they become a certain age, they're washed. Like
Yeah.
they're gone. But you can have Gene Hackman still acting at
Yeah.
60, 80, 60, 70, 80 years old. You understand what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He can act, but it's hard for them. So I think that it's just bias, and it
Mhm.
puts a lot of pressure on us that, when we get a certain age, you're supposed to be like washed up.
Yeah.
Even in movies, they always have it like, okay, well, you at this age, oh my God, is your husband still going to be with you? Is he going to trade you in for a younger model? That kind of crazy stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mindset thing too.
Oh yeah.
If he's willing to trade you in for a younger model, then let him go on and do that because you don't need
Sure.
that drama anyway. So that's
Right.
just
Exactly.
You about to adopt some more drama because
right.
Exactly. Man.
yeah.
Exactly. And then you got these cougars out here that's down for the young boys anyway. So it just goes every which way. Seriously, I could.
That don't sound like a bad idea. But they
Well,
have a
first,
thing now in Atlanta. They said that I can't remember the name of the mall, but it's like the popular mall in Atlanta. And there literally is like older women walking around with these young guys because they like, oh, she about to get her social security check. She done already
Shut up, shut up,
what?
shut
And
up.
they are there for it. And I said, okay.
what's the name? What's that guy who does those Old Spice commercials?
I know.
Oh, crazy, crazy. I'm thinking he was
He talks about he's
Dion.
got a whole stand-up like that. He said, I want a woman that's got a drawer full of ointments. I said, see,
His name is Dion something.
yes, yes.
He
His stand-up
crazy.
is hilarious.
I think I saw it. Is that the one he said he got high with Paul McCartney?
Yeah, I didn't see that one. Uh-uh. This
That's
one was,
funny.
I think it was a Netflix joint. I think it was. And he was talking about dating older women. He said, but it was really funny. It was really funny.
What's the Country Wayne? Remember he had the crush on the older, or he was dating the older woman, and then she
Yeah,
left him for an older guy, and he
right,
kind of fit.
right,
I
exactly.
mean, he was in his feelings.
I don't know if I could ever do it, you guys. Though I just because I feel like I would be with my son. Like I don't see that I could if I wasn't married. I don't know.
Okay,
Um,
paint the picture. Give me the scenario because I'm not married. Let me tell you if I would do it or not. Hold on.
okay. All right, let me tell you. Okay, so brother is fine.
Okay.
Fine, fine. How fine?
He's
If you say
fine.
Denzel
He's
right
fine.
here, I'm just gonna throw up.
Okay, this dude, he's 6'4",
Okay.
Okay.
no fat on his body.
You
Oop.
done caught my attention. Go ahead.
Okay, he like you, like he's dark skinned man,
Period.
fine. Chisel
Mm-hmm.
features, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But baby boy is 29.
Okay,
Can
29 is a little bit too young.
wait.
Just a little bit too young.
Before we throw the baby out with the bathwater, Sheila, can he string a sentence together? I mean,
Oh,
this
he's
kid.
highly intelligent. He's a
Oh,
college grad. He
Look,
owns his own
we're
business.
gonna have intellectual conversations. How
He
about that?
has
um,
he has two businesses well
uh,
established. He don't need your money. He has his own money. But he's not down for the women his age because they're not mature. He's looking for somebody who's a little bit more mature.
Well, he done came up on the right one.
what?
He done came up on the right
You
one.
didn't want a jackpot, boy.
We gonna have a nice intellectual conversation. We gonna talk about business, but we're not gonna have no like relationship. Like that's where you have to. 29 is a little bit too young. If he
Okay,
was like 40,
30, okay, what about 36? No,
that's
40 is, I don't want to say 40. 36. You got to be like in your 30s. I want him to stay like around your kid's age.
Oh wow.
good. And look, we look young, y'all. I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I was gonna ask where you about to throw him, Sheila, because I need to drive past it. Um,
I'm gonna whoop
all of
your
a
butt.
sudden, all of a sudden, I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm married. Let me stop.
Yeah, you gonna drive right on past.
Yes, I is.
Be like, hey, girl,
Really,
hey,
really
how
slowly.
you
Right,
Really,
right,
really,
right.
really
Exactly.
slowly.
Exactly. Right on past.
But you know what?
Um,
I think it's good, like just vibing with somebody younger, because I've had great, great, amazing conversations with younger men, and not like we're gonna go out, hang out, nothing like that, but just because you could see things through a different perspective, through a younger light.
Mm-hmm.
The millennial age that they just kind of like, why you gotta go to work? Why can't you just get something that you could just travel? And I'm because like that's not somebody our age would not say something like that to us.
no.
No,
They'd be like,
no.
girl, you better go to work. You know the boss is gonna be looking for you. You gotta be there
Um,
at 9 o'clock. You better be there at
Right.
8:55.
You want me to drop you off? I'll drop you off.
Exactly. So even just from a just getting a different type of energy or vibe from somebody, I think that that's always refreshing. Like
Mhm.
I feel good that I can talk to my kids' friends, male and female, and them not be like, how you doing today, Grandma?
Right,
You
exactly.
going to babysit the kids for us? No, I sure am not.
Right,
No,
right.
no, ma'am.
no, but that is so true. But you have so much to offer them too because of our perspective, right?
It's
Like
very
Yeah.
much so. Yep.
when I'm talking to younger people, they're like, wow,
Hmm.
I feel like I have so much to offer the conversation because I can disseminate things differently now, right? I
Yeah.
can understand the opportunities that maybe they can't see, and they're pretty wise and with it too. But you know what I mean? The perspective we bring is something that they enjoy listening to as well. So
Right.
Absolutely. Yep.
yeah, I feel you, and I usually can. I talk, like my kids. It's funny. I don't know if it annoys them. They're all grown now. I don't know if it annoyed them, but they would say, um, like my daughter, she didn't want her friends to meet me because she was like, my mom's stealing my shine or something. What she say? And she was like, and the, but their friends, their former friends, whenever they run into them, they're, how's your mom? Because I've had
Hmm.
conversations with them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You could really just talk to
Hmm.
them and just be real. And it was something else I was gonna say to that, but I can't remember. I got age fog. Excuse. I'll be back.
That comes with it. That does go with it.
That has been, speaking of grandmas, that has been something that has been like popping up, but I don't even think it's about age. You know how like sometimes you just have so much on your plate and so much like thoughts in your brain at one time that
Yeah.
you're like literally multitasking in your brain, but it's like not out loud, but you're like trying to do something and you're like thinking about other things and you're like, oh my God, I can't
Yeah.
even get my thought process right. And I
Mhm.
think that with aging, I think that also it's like, oh, you're starting to forget. Are you getting Alzheimer's? Are you, what's going on?
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah.
whole lot at one time. And sometimes you just got to take a step back, take a deep breath, and be like, okay, let me just try to do one thing at a time. Let me just
Right.
focus
Right.
on this one thing.
Oh, and
Mhm.
that's a good point too, Sheila. Maybe it's not so much that, and I know that some of that does come with the aging process, but there's so much more going on now for us to keep up with. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I
Right.
mean, it's reasonable to think you can't process everything
Oh,
all at
yeah.
once,
You got
right?
to come
Right.
up with schedules and menus
Right.
and who got to be where. And
And we're just inundated all day long with news and whatever's popping up. You know what I mean?
oh,
It's
yeah.
Right.
constant
Right.
flow of information,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Some good, some bad. But yeah.
Mhm.
And, but that, all that has an effect on you because you're like, oh my God, he did what?
Yeah,
And it's like, okay.
yeah.
Um,
That part.
and I'm gonna talk. I saw this today on YouTube too, because you know I'm a big YouTube junkie. So there
Mhm.
was some older Black women that went to the protest. I don't even know what state it was in, and they was the only ones that got arrested out of all them folks out of there.
Really?
They were showing them
Mhm.
and the zip ties on their hands. They were it
Oh, I
was a
saw that.
peaceful protest, and they were
Mhm.
older Black women. So the
Mhm.
girl on the page was saying, you know, we've done a great job as a community informing everybody like on TikTok and Facebook and but have y'all reached out to the people that aren't on there like that? Because these women like were older.
Mhm.
Um and they you know may be on Facebook or whatever, but I don't think they got the memo because I know I will not be nowhere near nothing.
No,
Nothing.
Yeah.
no,
No.
But
no.
I see the videos and I've heard the pastors and I heard everything else. So I feel like I'm somewhat in the know. And
Mhm.
know that
Yeah.
I am not going to participate in anything like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Now,
Mm.
do you guys ever feel like, do you ever look at your old pictures and stuff like that and kind of like think about your, your youthful older body and your things that you used to do and then, do you ever kind of reminisce on those kind of things when you look at pictures?
Absolutely. I was an
Mm,
avid, I used to run like 30 miles or more a week. I used to do gymnastics.
Mm.
And
mm,
now, only because of health reasons, but it's slowly getting
mhm.
better. But
Right,
I'll be glad to like walk around the grocery store and, just do minimal stuff.
Mhm.
right, right,
But I'm thankful for where I'm at because it's not where I was at.
right,
Yeah.
I
That's
think that once you have an attitude of, if you have the attitude of, oh, woe is me, I'm getting older, I can't do the things I used to do. Some people are young and can't do the things they used to do.
that's right.
mhm,
So
mm,
when you just look at it from the perspective of, at least I can walk, at least I don't have to be in a
yeah,
wheelchair, or at least I don't have
exactly,
to, use the apparatus that is
Mhm.
going to constrict me from doing the things that I want to do. And
Mhm.
my
right,
goal is to get myself back in shape that I can do, maybe not run 30 miles a week, but maybe, walk around the block without having to
right,
stop or, just do small things because those are big accomplishments.
Mhm.
right, right. I agree. What about you, Adrian?
Well, I actually look better now. Just saying.
Amen.
Okay,
Period.
I
honey,
mean,
period.
okay, so to be fair, I mean, no, I lost 30 pounds last year, and I was much bigger when I was younger, and much hippier and everything. So now I'm like, I can fit back into these clothes. I'm feeling myself. So
Ah, okay.
I don't have much to add right here. Sorry, y'all.
Okay, sorry.
Look, if you can't cheer for yourself, then who gonna do it?
Yeah, you be your biggest cheerleader. That's
Exactly.
For me too. Yeah, I think that I reminisce like those times, like they were so much fun. When I look at pictures and stuff like that, because I was the type that liked the attention, like y'all know, like just get the attention, you throw the hair and stuff like that. I just think about you wear the little dresses and stuff. So that part of my youth, it's not that I want that now, because I know that I mean, I could wear those dresses if I want to, but my sons would probably look at me like I was crazy. But
yeah,
but I just think of those times like they were really good times. And yeah, having that youth, sometimes you'll be like, oh God, I kind of I miss being fancy free. I just remember myself like, when you're young, you just don't have no inhibitions. It's like my friend and I, sometimes we talk like, oh my God, I cannot believe we did that. Like, and it's like not really, really crazy stuff, but stuff that I probably wouldn't do now. I know I wouldn't do now because I'll be thinking, no, but when you're young,
you don't even think about the consequences. You just be like, we just gonna do it.
Let's roll. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you want to go to Freaknik? Let's roll. Like, what?
Oh my God, you bought a Freaknik. Look, I can't even tell the whole story in context, but when I say, I know some people were scared when that thing came out.
Girl, shaking in their boots like, oh, and are they gonna see me? I hope they don't see me.
Gosh, what? Oh Lord.
I'm talking about they still scared. They're like, please don't recognize me. Please don't recognize me. Please don't recognize me.
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it because I actually moved to Atlanta the year that after, or 2 years after Freaknik stopped.
Oh.
So look, nobody don't got me on video, so I don't even care.
Ain't got you on video. They got you on video.
They don't have no proof, so they don't know what I did when I was in Atlanta.
The biggest thing for us in LA that we went to, it was Greek shows, but it was still different. It was still not as raunchy as things may be now. Like, it was just like, okay, you go to a Greek show, then you might go to like the frat house or something like that. You go to parties. It was just a different time. Now, that was just my sect. Maybe it was just the people I hung around. But now they get it. It's different. It seems like they don't even dance together. They don't even. It was just a different time in life.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was like, and then it also, I think too, like Adrian, you were saying earlier about getting married so young. We lived in a genre after our parents that it was about love. We had love songs. I mean, I remember being like 10 years old singing Stephanie Mills. Like,
oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like embedded in us, like Stephanie Mills and Teddy Pendergrass, Feel the Fire. Like, I would be singing that like, and I was a child. So you know what I'm saying? It was in us to be like love. Like,
right?
I want to fall in love. Yeah. You get older and you a youth or whatever, and then you open to that. It was a different time than they have now.
It's so different. It really is. I mean, I don't even know how they navigate it, to be honest. It's so, I mean, even like we would talk to the younger people in the family, and my daughter and even my sons and stuff, and the whole club scene. Right. I mean, and this was about 10 years ago. It was like, what in the world? I mean, because even after I got married, we would still go out, so we were still going to some of these clubs, but it was totally different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I'm presuming it's similar to 10 years ago, but out here, the men, if you're not balling, you might as well stay home. Okay, because if you
Wow.
can't get a table with
Oh,
bottle
they
service,
be pretending.
oh, girl,
They would go to somebody
you
else's
better
table.
pretend hard, because out here they would not even seat you. Okay, so you ain't
What?
getting no love from the women. You not, because you obviously are.
Mm,
I mean, it was just like, what? I mean, it just was so different than the days when we
mhm,
used to go. I don't even want to
mhm.
talk about the names of the clubs that we went to. I'm talking about the Red Onion.
I went to the Red Onion.
You remember that?
I remember.
Victoria Station. Now,
I didn't go to Victoria Station. That's before my time.
okay,
That's my
whatever.
cousins used to go to Victoria Station.
Thank
Sorry, I had to
you
go there.
for that.
I wanted to go there.
I think that predates. No, it can't predate Universal Studios.
Carolina West. I went
Carolina.
there for my
I didn't go to
21st.
Carolina West. I didn't go to Carolina, but I knew people who did go to Carolina. So I mean, but it was
Century
just so
Club,
different.
the Century Club. That's where
The
Nipsey's
Century
mama. That's where
Club.
Nipsey's mama met his daddy. I used to go to. I used to go to Century Club all the time. But let me tell you where we frequented
Where?
Tilly's Terrace. It was in Santa Monica Mall. You probably
What?
never heard of it. Yes, baby. It's called Tilly's Terrace. It was a restaurant throughout during the day,
Uh-huh.
but at night on Friday and Saturday nights they would have a club. You talking about the best fun ever. When we used to go
Really?
to, yes. Tilly's Terrace. We would go there and then we would go to Larry Parker's in Beverly Hills and eat.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
God. Do you
That was
remember
our thing.
TGIF? It was over in the marina though.
Yes, in the
Oh,
marina. Yes,
right.
right there by Barnes and Noble.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that was
Curtis and
how
I moved over there with
they had
our
to
first
shut that
apartment.
down. They had to
I
shut that down.
know, girl, because
That was a mess.
they started shooting and all of this other stuff up there,
Well,
fighting.
it was too much of a scene, you know what I mean? And
Well, then you had celebrities for a long time that was going in that area because it was like in the cut.
yeah.
You know, that's like the cut. We lived not that far from there because you had Gelson's, like the rest the
Yeah.
grocery store, like on the other side. But we
Mhm.
lived like if you went down, can't even think of the name of the street. What's the name of that street?
What, Slauson?
No, it's not Slauson. The little street that cuts in between where the TGI. Why can't I think of it? It turns into the freeway, to the Marina Freeway.
Oh, oh, I can't think of. I see it in my head, but it's near Sawtell, but it's not Sawtell.
Yeah,
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 yeah. I
yeah.
know what you're talking about. I just can't think of the
Mhm,
name. It's
mhm.
yeah, yeah. I'm getting fog again, but I do
You're getting
know
foggy.
I
You're
get
getting
foggy.
foggy.
But no, but it's so different, you know, like
Yeah.
the next generation, it was like, you know what I mean? I mean, it
Mhm,
was like
mhm.
a lot of money talk about going out. And
Wow.
I was just in awe. I was like, what?
Mm,
You know, but
mm.
I don't know. It's just different. It's just different. But
Yeah, that's like sad to me though, because
yeah.
it's in your youth, like you have time for all of that and just having clean fun. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Not that you have to be around those scrubs or nothing like, but that was before Scrubs came out the song. To be honest with you. Honestly, that's behind that. But you know what I'm saying? It was like different. Even then you had guys who were like, oh, you and me, can I buy you something to drink? Or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It was different. I don't know, honey. This is
Well,
different. I don't know.
I guess it's different again if now they coming up to the women asking what do you bring into this situation?
Yeah, what can you do for me?
And that whole Kevin Samuels madness, I was
Yeah,
like,
he
oh,
started. That's what you leave. But see, you have to be so careful because you leave this earth, and that's what you leave. That's your legacy.
that is that is.
Sad.
So, mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Look,
but
we are all put on the earth for an assignment, and that was his assignment.
yeah.
well,
And I'm not gonna say nothing bad about him because he's
Yeah, okay.
no longer here.
He's departed, but
Yeah,
still, you do have to be careful with what you leave.
because we don't know where he went to.
uh,
I don't know where he went to. No,
right.
no, I just
You know
know
what
where
I
I
was
want to go.
you know what I was gonna say earlier? One of the things that does bother me about being this age, and I don't really know if it's being this age or not, but sometimes I'll run into young men that and they might be asking me directions or something like that, and I'll be talking to them. They'll say, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." I'll say, "If you don't stop calling me ma'am,"
Yes.
and but they're from the South,
Yeah,
so
that's a
and I've
respect
actually
thing from the
told them, I said,
South.
"Please, you do not have to come." He said, "But I do," and I said, I understand what it is, but oh, don't call
But
me.
I'm gonna tell you, I've raised my sons like that, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh
People,
yeah.
yeah, people have gone, they have, like when CJ was in school, in college, they was like, "Is your parents military?" And he was like, "No, why say that?" Because you always like sir and ma'am, and you always opening doors and stuff. But that's just the way I've taught both of them. But
Yeah.
this one lady told Yeshua at his school, told him, "Please, you don't have to keep calling me ma'am. You don't have to call me ma'am no more. You can just call me Shelly. Don't call me ma'am no more." Because yeah, it could be, I told him it could be insulting after a while. Like,
Yeah.
okay, like you said one time, but you ain't got to keep saying, "Yes, ma'am." You don't have to keep every time you see the person, you call them ma'am. No, start calling them by their name because they don't want to hear that.
But
So
you know what, young kids, like when you call them, if I would rather for them to say yes, ma'am, than be like, what?
yeah,
Because
Yeah.
if
what?
we were
What you
not allowed to
want?
say what, yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
what?
Or what, bro? They
Yeah.
call
And
you
you're
call
right,
yourself, call
Kristen.
you bro. Yeah.
You're
Oh,
right,
yeah.
Sheila, because
Please,
I
please
mean,
don't call me bro either.
Call
it's
me
Because
like
I'm
bro.
not your bro.
Right.
they
I'll
didn't
call
know my
you bro.
name, so you should. I guess you know what I mean. You're right.
Bro, I'm so hungry, bro. What are we gonna eat, bro?
Yes,
Call me
bro.
that.
Who's
They should,
bro?
they should be doing that too. What's up, bro? So what we gonna eat, bro? I'm like,
Oh my
bro, I'm
God.
your bro.
Excuse me?
Yes, I'm your mama.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
no.
I call everybody bro. No, you don't call me that though.
Yeah,
Because
like
I ain't bro.
everybody except for me.
Yeah,
Except,
baby. Ain't your
Please and
bro.
thank you.
Yeah, I ain't your
except.
bro.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I ain't nobody's bro.
I ain't nobody's bro, baby. It's the all the way, baby. It's the all the way.
And then when they be talking to their friends, bro, did you see that? Dude, I mean, oh my God. I mean, bro.
Right.
So
Right.
let me ask you guys something. So when you were younger, what did you think it was gonna be like to be like over 50?
Oh my goodness.
I thought we were gonna be walking around with a walker and
Pain. Right.
Because that was old, huh?
eating some Geritol and
Pains. Geritol. Well, I don't know.
Wait a minute. Wait a
I'm my
minute.
down.
Don't do that with the Geritol. We can't do that. No.
no, but that
Geritol.
look, that's the plug though. That's a
That's
good
the
thing.
plug,
Exactly.
baby. That Geritol had your hair on fleek.
All
Oh, they
right.
don't say fleek no more, huh? But no, I used to think like it was so old. I thought 30, to be honest with you, I used to be like, oh my God, my parents at that time was like in their 30s. And I was like, oh my God, they are so old. Like I couldn't even
Right.
imagine myself. I couldn't even imagine myself being this age. I can remember going to my daddy's 50th birthday party. Like I can remember, you know, it's
Mm,
just it's crazy. And now I'm his age. Like it's wild. So
mhm.
it's all in your mind though. Like I said again, like if you sitting up saying you old and you not, you know, at least trying to do things to keep yourself youthful or to take care of yourself, then it's gonna be a problem. You're gonna be that. You know, like I said, I have the little things with my knees going on. You know, the vision is like shot. I have to wear my glasses. Just being honest, you know, but I know that there's things that I can do. I can make sure that I keep my hair together, or I try to take my vitamins. I try to drink my water and try to say, okay, I'm not gonna eat too many sweets or stuff like that, so that I can try to preserve myself. And then too, not just physically but mentally, like, you know, minding who you be around, like the
Right.
energy and stuff,
The
you know. Yeah, that's
Oh
a
my
big part of
God.
it. At this age, baby, I can't tolerate, baby. And if you get sad that I don't talk to you no more, understand I cannot take certain things. There's nothing. I don't wish you no bad luck.
Yep.
I don't wish you nothing. I want the best for you. But you and me, like if you your energy don't fit my energy, I can't deal with it. I used to be able to fake it when I was 20 and 30 years old. But at this age, I can't do it anymore. I have
But
to
I don't
cut you
even think that you were faking it. You were tolerating it because
tolerating it.
you didn't. I think at that point in our lives, we didn't realize how much other people's energy could attach itself to you in a
Yeah.
negative way. Because
Right.
Can
have
I
you
tell
ever dealt with I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, have you ever dealt with somebody and like every conversation you have with them is negative,
Yes.
and
Oh,
but as
yeah.
soon as you stop talking to them, like it was like they were almost bringing negative energy into your life because you were like basically trying to figure out somebody else's problems and I
Yeah.
want
Yes.
help and this
Yeah.
person expects me to do this and I'm just
Yes.
like, yeah, no, I'm good. Do whatever you need
Mind
to
you,
do, do it
they
over
not
there.
working on their problems though. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
you
Yeah.
trying to help them. But
Right.
when you guys were just talking about energy, I want to tell you something that happened today. So I was out earlier trying to get these Mother's Day cards out. There's a few that I'm trying to send out, right? So I
Right.
was down one and I was in the store and I went over to this book section that was in the store and this one woman, she was standing right in front of the books. And so I was standing behind her, kind of looking over her shoulder, whatever. And she turned around and she said, "Oh," and she kind of moved to the side. And I said, "Oh," she said, "I didn't even know they had books in here." And I said, "Yeah, sometimes they have some really good ones." And so I picked up a book, she picked up a book, and she said, "Oh, do you like Hennessy?" And I said, "Did you say Hennessy or cognac or something? I don't know." And I said, "Oh yeah." And she said, "This is a young black woman." She said, "I own a company." And I was like, "Really?" She said, "Are you busy tonight? We're doing an event." And I was like, "Actually, I am. I have my granddaughter recital tonight, but are you local?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm local." And I said, "Oh, okay, you have another event." And we exchanged information. And just before she walked away, she said, "You know what? Usually I pick up on people's energy and you have such good energy because I'm very skittish and people coming up behind me, I normally would flinch and say, what you want? What you want?" And I
Mm.
I picked up on positive energy coming off of you immediately. And I was
Mm.
like, whoa. I said, "You know
Yeah.
what? I appreciate that because I had a rough week. I needed to hear that. Thank you."
Right.
And you know what I mean?
But that's
And
true because
right.
energies attached to people. Like other
Mm-hmm.
people's energies can attach to you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen, I can't even talk about the movie because I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that there was like something that welcoming people into your space or into your life or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that's allowing their energy to be a part
Oh
of
yeah.
whatever you got going on. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's
Inviting them
important.
in. Inviting
Yeah.
them in. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
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 So that's why I'm hesitant. Like I speak to everybody, but when
Mm-hmm.
people, once it gets to like a point that starts feeling weird, I'm like, okay, thank you, bye.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would dismiss myself from the situation, the room, the whatever.
And that's
'Cause
probably like what you were talking about earlier, Chrissy. It's like when we were younger, I don't think we were that what would you call it? Perceptive to
Right.
recognize that, Sheila, that does play a huge part, the
oh yeah,
heaviness of somebody else's energy, especially negative
Mhm.
energy.
oh
And
yeah.
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Right.
And because when you're in tune with that kind of stuff, it's almost like you're an empath. You pick up on people's stuff. You
Yes.
Yeah.
unpack their packaging on you, and you just feel heavy and weighted, and they
Yes.
don't understand. Well, why you stop talking to me? Why you distance yourself
Right.
from me?
Yeah.
And it's like nothing personal to
No.
you, but it's personal to me. Like I have to protect my
Right.
energy, my
Right.
space, my mind,
Right.
everything.
Oh my
Right.
gosh. Oh
Most
my God.
definitely. Yeah. It you become at but my mom told me that like when you get to a certain age, she said it's gonna get even worse where you just gonna be like you're just gonna start saying what you feel totally to people. I
Mhm.
haven't got there totally yet, but I am at the point where I can't tolerate like craziness and it shows on my face if I'm in front of you. I can't even if I'm not saying it yet, it
Mhm.
shows on my face. But I have just no
Yeah.
tolerance. I don't care if I'm related to you. I don't care who it is. If you tripping and your
Yeah.
energy just hits against me,
Yeah.
whoo, I can't deal.
Yeah.
I have to get away from you. So
No,
And I
I
think
hear
too,
you.
it's the second half. You know what I'm saying? This is the
Yeah.
second half of your life. So you have to be very careful with who you have in it.
Yeah.
Sure.
You need to be deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, I don't pretend to be okay anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
I need rest, I need rest. If I need boundaries, I set them.
Right.
And I honor what I need instead of suppressing it, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I felt like I did for the first half. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right. Right.
It was
Right.
probably a survival technique or what I knew to do, but when you know better, you do better, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, I oh my gosh, yeah. But
So what is
that's the
your
good part of getting older, huh?
what is your what is the best thing about getting older for you?
You know what? Just knowing myself. I mean, and I know that sounds kind of cliche, but knowing myself better, like what I like to do, what how I disseminate information. Like I know how my brain works. So I know how what I need to do to function. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if I forget things, forget things. If I don't do anything about that, and there's too many things I can do. So I set reminders. I know that I overload my schedule. So I know that I need to build in certain mechanisms to keep up with it. So
Mhm.
just knowing myself better and being
Mhm.
okay with not still being that younger Adrian, being the wiser Adrian, the different Adrian. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I said, I referred to this in another episode, but your book that you invited me in, the anthology, I talked about being in a different chapter of my
Right.
life. And
Right.
and that can mean totally, plot twist. You know what I mean? It's different.
Right.
It's just different. And that's okay. That's okay. So that to me is the good is really good because you can feel really uncomfortable thinking you have to still be the same person that you were when you were 20 or 30. That's ridiculous. You should be a different person. I'm not saying a completely
Mhm.
different person, but
Right.
you should be more mature. You should be more aware. You should be hopefully more content, more happy.
Right.
um yeah, so I mean, what about you?
For me, it's just the idea. The best thing about getting older is just getting older.
Hmm.
I lost a really good friend a couple years ago, and it was like she was um, maybe about 4 or 5 months away from turning 50,
Wow.
and we have been friends since second grade.
Oh my gosh.
So her name is April, and she had kidney failure.
Oh.
So, we just have decided, my other friends that grew up with us, that we
Mhm.
live for April. Like
Mm.
everything that we do, like, we don't complain about birthdays or this or that,
Mhm.
because what we are experiencing, she didn't get to experience here on Earth.
Right.
So I
Wow.
think it's just the gift of
Mhm.
having that. And then, you know, um, it has to be like, you have to look at it like a gift, because never in your wildest dreams, if you're a child and you grow up with this person, that you think that this person's going to leave you or
Right.
go, you know what I'm saying? And you're going to be this age and that person's not here.
Right.
So I just think that it's just a gift every day. Just, I'm not saying that I have these wonderful days, because, you have dreary days. Every day is not a good day.
Mhm.
But just the
Mhm.
fact to wake up and be able to open up your eyes and see your kids, and see your kids growing, and see and that kind of thing. Have good friends like you and Sheila,
Right.
being able to talk in this. We're in all different states, and we're talking to each other and vibing. That
Mhm.
kind of thing. Those are gifts. So that is the ultimate gift of getting older.
Yeah. I agree. That's amazing.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
gratitude that you can find for your life, having lost
Yeah.
someone so close.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
that's a blessing. That really is.
Yeah.
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 Wow. What do you say, Sheila?
I was looking something up while y'all were talking, but I heard what everything y'all said. But I was just looking up. So on your, I'm gonna tell y'all a number: 1,048,576. That's our great 18th great grandparents. So I think the thing that resonates with me about getting older is when we take family pictures, you know,
Mm.
I was used to growing up kind of like in a bubble. It was like always me, my sister, my brother, and my mom and my dad. But when you look at the big picture, like of how many people it took for you to be created, for you to be
Mm.
in this
Mm.
space, how like now the pictures are, mom and dad aren't here, God rest their souls, but
Mm.
me, my sister, my brother, our kids, their kids, it's like I think it's a total of like 27 of us. And
Wow.
to be a part of this, to be able to see a part of a generations, multiple generations,
Right.
and that no matter what, your story will continue.
Wow.
Right.
I think that's the biggest takeaway for me.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Legacy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this was good, y'all. Thank y'all for vibing with me today. And you guys, every week when we come together, it not only helps our audience, but I don't know if y'all feel like this, but it helps me. It's just vibing with you guys, talking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys
It's
keep me. Yeah.
same. Same. It's food. It's food. Like I told y'all give me energy and you give me food to talk. It's like a gift more than anything.
Yeah. I love
All
it.
right. What's your closing remark, Sheila?
Getting older isn't about what's behind you. It's about what you're stepping into. Every wrinkle, every lesson, and every season, it made me softer and stronger.
They can have you. I'll take this wisdom. It's clarity and it's peace. Being over 50 is not about fading. It's about fully showing up.
I'm not chasing youth. I'm embodying wisdom. Over 50, I don't need to prove I still got it because I am it.
Hmm?
Seasoned, seen, and still snatching edges, spiritually and otherwise.
Period.
Period. Well, thank y'all for vibing with us today. If you're 50 or getting close, just know you're not invisible. You're invincible.
Leave us a comment, like, and share, and we'd love to hear your ideas on future shows.
Until next time, keep shining, keep speaking up, and keep showing up. You're not too old. You're just getting started.
Okay, y'all.
This
All
is Third
together.
Degree
Degree
Vibes.
vibes.
We'll
And we'll
catch
catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.